Hi folks, it's me, India Celestine Rodriguez from Centro, Esperanza, Caridad here in the Bronx. And today I would like to share another video with you. Today's topic is going to be Veladas. Structures of Veladas, the reasons why we gather in Veladas, Misas Espirituales, de Mesa Blanca, and more or less just give you a sense and idea of what the purpose of Veladas are. A lot of people are under the impression that veladas are strictly about, just simply, bringing out causas, talking about brujeria, or lifting spirits that are attached, or lifting spirits of obsessions and discord and doing full-blown exorcisms and stuff like that. But I wanted to touch base with folks about other aspects of veladas that are very critical and useful to those that gather or come into attendance. I just wanted to, before I begin, I just want to take a moment and just basically just try to gather myself and just make myself conducive to spirit, so I could just more or less allow myself to be able to flow, as I'm just basically explaining to you guys some of my thoughts. Okay, so just give me a moment and I'll be right with you, okay? Okay. First and foremost, okay, a velada espiritual, a misa espiritual de mesa blanca criolla, which is a mesa blanca and spiritual tradition within the context of the Caribbean. Okay. Part of the reason why we gather in the context of a misa espiritual is to create a space that's conducive to not only to spirits, but spirits that are elevated. And how do we create that space? First, we the people that gather in the context of a misa have to be united in thought. How do we unite ourselves in thought? There has to be an intention in place. Most of the intentions in place should be from a place of light and love and understanding, and being able to help those that might be in affliction, or those that are seeking inspiration, guidance, instruction, to assist in their spiritual evolution and their spiritual growth. Misas Espirituales have many aspects, and one of the things that's often forgotten is that, based upon the context and the purpose of what the misa is, and the thought process of those that are in attendance, that should be in unity, in harmony, in peace, is to be able to draw to us spirits of light, spirits that are evolved, to come gather with us, to be present with us, to be able to be able to assist those that are mediums or media unidad espiritistas, to be able to perceive the messages that the spirits want to relay to the community, to an individual, to the folks that are in attendance. Some of the spirits that gather in these reuniones espirituales or misas espirituales or veladas are spirits that are directly connected to us through our spiritual and cultural identity. Also spirits that have walked with us from various existences, that are directly connected to us based upon our destiny in this world and the things that we need to fulfill in this world for our own elevation, for our own evolution, for our own understanding. Some of the messages might come through spirits that they might not have never existed in this world, but they take on an identity of a spirit or person or identity of someone that we might be familiar with. And through that, they bring about messages that we could apply in our lives to live a more centered, grounded life with purpose, with meaning, and to be able to reaffirm our faith and take personal accountability and responsibility over the way and the method that we should live our existence in this world, you know? And when we first gather, understand, it's very critical that when we gather together, that everyone has a role, you know? There is a structure in a velada, in a misa espiritual. You know, there's a presidente, and the presidente is basically the one person that has demonstrated a capacity to be able to not only channel spirit, perceive spirit, sense spirit, but also is a mediator in the context within the gathering to ensure that the message that's being relayed and the structure of it, is a structure that's based upon the purpose that folks are trying to achieve, or the agenda that folks are trying to relay. You know, this person is the one that makes sure that, you know, there is silence, there is unity. This person discerns very carefully the messages that's being relayed. This person is the one that makes sure that as they perceive energetically the space, that they could structurize the mesa y cuadrar la mesa, to square off the mesa, with spiritists and media unidades of different capacities or different gifts that they're familiar with, that will make the space more conducive to relaying these messages through those that are in participation. Because there's various types of media unidades, mediumships. There's the ones that could hear, ones that could see. There's different methods that people relay messages. There are the ones that receive claves, or spiritual impulses or messages through skyrim, through writing. You know, it's different messages and stuff like that. So the presidente, which is the leader of the misa, is the one in charge of ensuring that everything is flowing, everything is very fluid, you know, so the space could be conducive to spirit, and that the space is protected, that if there's any intervention that needs to go on, then this person is the one that steps forward, but also this person that takes the helm and the reins when the situation might come about, whereas a particular spirit that might be attached with somebody, whether it be an obsessive spirit or espíritu endurecido, or any number of spirits that might come through in the context of an attachment or an obsession or an affliction that's exercising an influence over one particular person's life, that might be in attendance. And the people that are in attendance, it depends also on the context of what the misa is for. If it's a public forum, a public misa, obviously you're going to have people from all walks of life. And you don't know the trials and tribulations that they might be undergoing. But also the afflictions that folks might be having. You know, there's different media unidades, just like there are different spirits. You know, there are spirits, there are medics, spirits, there are nuns, there are spirits that come to inspire us. There are spirits that come to instruct us, like teachers and professors or mystics from all walks of life, from all identities, from all cultural backgrounds, that want to relay messages that often come into this gathering, you know. But it's very, very critical that in this misa, before we begin anything, that people take the time and liberty to not only prepare in anticipation for the misa, in their homes, in their personal altars, or you know, to be able to relay to their messages that I am coming, or I've been asked to participate in a velada, in a misa espiritual. Please allow me to be conducive to spirit, to be able to relay the necessary messages that might help someone that might be in affliction, or to offer somebody counsel and instruction so they could live a life of purpose and meaning, and to reaffirm people's faith. So with that said, it's like oftentimes I go to misas and stuff like that, and one of the things that I find very questionable is when people gather in the context of a misa and they want to rush into a misa. Like they don't sit there, take a moment just to collect themselves, just to gather. Everything is just ritualistically. Let's prepare the table, let's put the candles, let's smoke tabacos, let's put colonias, let's prepare a little palangana or a little bowl with water that's magnetized and stuff like that for people to be able to cleanse their aura and stuff. And it's just rituals, but it should be deeper than that. People should take time and liberty to really center themselves and ground themselves, and make sure that when you open up a misa, or you invite people in a misa, that there is a rapport between the people there, and that all the people that are going to gather there know what they're gathering there for, that there is not resentment, that there's not anger, that there's not jealousy, discord, or just folks that might be undergoing their own personal trials, that if you bring that type of attitude or disposition or behavior in the context of a misa, that the spirits will avail themselves of us, because we draw spirits based upon our disposition. So if we want truly to be in the company of spirits that are enlightened, we need to conduct ourselves in a manner that's responsible, that's conducive to spirit. We need to be positive. We need to be mindful. We need to be in a prayerful state. We need to understand that this is going to be a positive form, a positive gathering, where we're going to draw spiritual life to be able to assist and do an intercession for those that might be in affliction, but also to help and facilitate those that are here in this, are trying to evolve, grow spiritually, or develop spiritually their mediumship gifts, or as spiritistas or curanderos, or whatever number of things, So we have to be very mindful of the conduct of one another, because spirits will avail themselves of a misa that's poorly constructed, or not organized, or not structured, or like a presidente that does not assert themselves a certain level of control to make sure that this is conducive to truth and progress. So with this said, this is going to be my first little video. I'm going to elaborate a little bit more on certain segments of it. I might come up with some videos based on different topics and stuff. And I just wanted to share this evening with those in attendance, or those that follow me, that just basically a little insight governing the structure and the purpose of misas. Understand, far too often I see misas enfermiza. When I say misa enfermiza, you go into the misa and right away people start rattling off, talking about you have a causa, you have a spirit, you have brujeria, hechiceria, your neighbor this, your neighbor that, or you have a spirit that's attached to you. Okay, granted, those things do happen, and those things do come up in the context of a misa. And it is our duty and responsibility to assist where we can. Understand? It is our duty also, and it's our obligation, a moral, ethical obligation, that in the context of a misa, if you see somebody that's afflicted and you start giving evidencias, I'm a strong believer that the minute you open up that portal, the minute you start receiving that clave, that impulso, or that hilo espiritual, and you start pulling at it and stuff like that, and your spirits start picking up those messages, those impulses and stuff like that, that you have a moral obligation to assist that person afflicted. Because what's the sense you coming into the misa and you're going to tell this person's business, and say all the things that's afflicting this person, but then you come into the context of a misa with this mindset, well, yo no lo voy a trabajar. I'm not gonna work that causa. You work that causa. You work that causa. Okay, so what did you come to the misa for? Understand? And if your fear is, oh, if I work that causa somehow, some way, whatever they have going on in their life might become attached to me, or might impact my life, or might throw my balance off, then it speaks a lot about where your faith is at. Understand? Because you as a spiritualist, you should have no fear. You as a spiritualist, you should have faith in God. You should have faith in the spirits that walk with you. Then in the context of a misa, if something comes up where somebody is afflicted with something, que tú le vas a meter mano. You're going to go in there and you're going to do what you have to do for this person and allow your spirits to come forth through you to be able to assist this person, to lift this causa, to lift this situation off them. God blesses you. God sees your intent. God sees your faith. God sees your conviction. You know, and I'm a strong believer when I go into spiritual warfare or battle and stuff, or I'm doing an exorcism, or I'm lifting a causa. The one thing that always comes up for me is Psalms 21. Though I walk through the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. I have complete faith in what walks with me, and I have complete faith that God is with me, and God is in my presence, and God is giving me the impulse to go out there and assist somebody that's in affliction. And let's go elaborate further on that. When Jesus was here on this earth, and it's a good, beautiful example. There's a lot of people, that you can't equate the two the same. Listen, in my opinion, Jesucristo was the biggest medium that there was. And he instilled in all men equally faith and our ability to connect and decipher and discern carefully and utilize our free will to be able to exorcise demons, cast out spirits, demons, whatever. Understand? And especially if you have the capacity to do that, I find it a disrespect. I find it a violation of to me it's just selfish. To me it's just very, very selfish that you will come into a misa for what purpose? What, to hear bonchinche? To hear the afflictions of other people? To gloat? To be able to have somebody pat you on the back and give you validation? Oh my God, you're so powerful. Oh my God, you could perceive that, you could sense things. Okay, if that's what your intentions was, you're going to be satisfied momentarily for it. But I'm going to tell you this. In time, if that's what's going to compel you to come to misas and stuff like that, eventually that's going to impact your ability to be able to discern carefully the messages that the Spirit's going to relay. And the spirits that are truly, truly spirits that are of light, of truth, are going to look upon that, and they're going to frown upon that, and they're going to distance themselves. They're not going to remove themselves from your life, but they're going to distance themselves from you. And what's going to happen with you is you're going to create a doorway where spirits that are not evolved, they're going to avail themselves of your thirst to want to seek validation, to want to work just for the agenda, to have your ego stroked, And I say this, that we have to be accountable for our lives and how we live our lives as mediating espiritistas, because people will come to us from all walks of life, and you don't know what you don't know what their affliction is, you don't know what they're atoning for, you don't know the trials and tribulations that they're undergoing. Some people might come to us because they saw everything else out there, and they're thinking outside of the box and thinking to themselves, something, I heard of a person that's a spiritista, or spirits somehow, some way have compelled them to somehow, some way reach out to you, because they might have encountered a video of you or on social media or something about you as you're walking and you're living your daily existence. Something compelled them to come forward or inspire them to seek counsel from you. And oftentimes it's our own spirits that draw these people to us. Oftentimes it's God and the angels and their guardians that compel them to come and start contrast and proportion and cross pathways with people that have these beautiful gifts. So it's our duty and responsibility to act upon that in a moral and ethical way. You know, we can't sit there and be egotistical and selfish and self-centered. We can't sit there and go into a misa with the whole idea, well, you know, this is going to be a spectacle, me voy a montar, I'm going to pass my spirits, I'm going to do a show and entertain people and have people just be like, oh my God, it's so beautiful what walks with you and stuff. You know, I'm a strong believer that those things do impact our own personal evolution, and it sets us back, you know, when we go into the context of a misa with ulterior motives. You know, spirits of high aptitude or luz will gather with those people that come with truth and justice, and come with pure intentions, and they repel themselves off people that come with all their agendas. You know, and also it makes people's jobs more difficult when you have people in the gathering that come to bonchinchar, come de presentado, or come simply because they want to see what's going on with fulana de tal, fulano de tal. You know, these are not the reasons why you want to come to a misa. You know, you don't come to the misa because you want to see spectacles, you want to see people getting mounted with spirits. Not everybody comes and to a misa and works their spirits, and in order to work their spirits they have to go into full possession or go into an altered state with their spirits. Some people have the ability to be able to bring forth messages from spirit and sit still and grounded without going through the whole motions and need to go into an altered state. They just make themselves receptive and open to receiving the impulses and messages and images of spirit, and they could relate that to the people in attendance, whoever in attendance, to facilitate their healing process. You know, so I just wanted to leave you guys with this video, and I hope that it touched somebody, or maybe dispels some preconceived notions of what people think a misa should be and should not be. And I hope that somehow, some way, it facilitates dialogue, and not only dialogue, but it also, you know, like for those people that practice this doctrine as mediaunidades espiritistas, take accountability on how you live your life. Take accountability and be responsible when you come into a gathering or reunión, una velada espiritual, and what you bring to the table, you know, because, you know, people come to us and you don't know if that person coming to us, we might be their last hope, you know, and they might leave a misa with more answers, with more questions than answers. And you bringing up their situation might possibly thrust them over the edge of hopelessness and helplessness. And in that context, that situation, you facilitated that, you created that situation, you perpetuated further suffering for that person. So with that said, I just want to bid you guys a good night, and God bless every single one of you guys. Please do subscribe, please do share, please do like. If anyone wants me to be able to elaborate on any specific topics, please do share. I'm very open with entering into dialogue or explaining or elaborating on key things surrounding Espiritismo. And I hope that this video, you know, can facilitate not only a discussion, but people can really, truly, truly reflect on what a misa or a velada espiritual truly is all about, you know, and somehow, some way, it'll give you the necessary encouragement to work and strive to be a better person, and to work a little harder and taking the personal accountability over your own spiritual evolution and development. With that said, God bless every single one of you guys. I'm going to leave my information to my Centro, Templo, Esperanza, Caridad here the in the comments section, in the details section and stuff like that. I do offer readings both in person and through phone, and I will provide all my information. Um, and like I said, God bless every single one of you guys, and continue to follow me and give me your insight. I love people's feedback and insight and stuff, and I'm a strong believer that we can learn something critical from one another. Nobody's more elevated, nobody's no greater than anybody. Like, no matter if you're just starting your development or your journey, or you've been in the tradition many, many years and stuff. I'm a strong believer in sharing. I'm a strong believer in facilitating instruction and guidance, for those that truly, truly want to evolve and want to understand a little bit of what spiritismo or mediumship or spirit contact communication or ancestral reverence is all about. With that said, God bless every single one of you guys, and good night. And I love every single one of you guys. Thank you for those few people that have been commenting me and have been, reaching out to me, and God bless, and stay strong. Stay strong. God bless. Good night.